What's up, guys? JDanks here with Unanimous Champs. We are back again. We brought you guys a special guest. We have Chris Najm here. Chris, introduce yourself quickly. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? Just happy to be on the pod. I'm a big fighting fan. Got the opportunity, got the invite here, so just happy to talk some fighting. Best sport in the world, baby.
There you go. It was a last-minute invite, and I mean, you came over here quick. We have what we got to talk about, and let's waste no time. Let's get right into it. UFC 278. We're a few days removed, and I just want to hear your overall thoughts. Okay, it could be about any fight, the main event, whatever. Just tell me how you're feeling. Let it all out.
I fucking loved Paulo Costa and
Oh my
Rockhold.
God.
I couldn't tell if it was the best, worst fight I've ever seen
Yes.
or the worst, best fight I've ever seen.
100%.
I think it's the best, worst fight I've ever seen. I mean, that was fucking fantastic.
And, of course, the feeling we had, well, personally, when I was watching that main event and I just saw Kamaru Usman lying on the mat, eyes
That
open,
shot,
unconscious. That was a picture for the
Crazy.
ages. Like,
That's just gonna be one of those moments, you know,
Yeah.
back, like, where were you when you saw Kamaru Usman,
exactly.
the king, get knocked out? It was
And you know
crazy.
what? Leading up to the fight, I was like, there's no way Leon can win. How can he win? Was he going to out-wrestle him, out-strike him? Maybe, but Usman's just going to take him to the floor,
Yep.
and you'll see what happens. And
That is what happened.
That is what happened, of course. And the final sequence before Usman was lying on that mat was there was 0 punches thrown in the last minute of that fight. And then Edwards just set up that head kick, or more like a neck kick. It was shin right to the neck.
Beautiful setup.
Oh my God. And people are saying it's a fluke. I mean,
It's not.
how can that be a fluke? You know, we're posting on TikTok, we're posting on Instagram, and we have people writing, it's a fluke. It's those people, the same people
Yep.
that lost their money betting
If
on
you know
fucking
anything
Usman.
about kickboxing, that is a beautiful setup. He waited, he picked his shot, he feinted him out, and when he realized he was dipping in, he feinted the hook, or the straight, sorry, and then he hit him with the head kick.
100%.
Beautiful knockout.
And like you said, just one of those moments in history
Yep.
when you're going to say, yo, where were you when Leon Edwards knocked out Kamaru Usman in the 5th round, losing the fight to take over the welterweight champ status? I'm getting goosebumps,
Yep.
bro.
It's something you only get every couple of years. You know
And
what I mean?
like, it's different because when Kamaru Usman took over the reign as welterweight
Yep.
king, it was, you know, he just dominated Tyron Woodley.
Yep.
There was no knockout, just round 1 to round 5, just a clean slate. But this is different. This was so controversial in the sense where one more minute, and
That's
we're
all
all
they had to do to
saying
survive.
Leon Edwards was a fake title contender. And when we're talking about Kamaru Usman being the GOAT, we're saying, oh, well, he beat Leon Edwards. And then now we're saying
Bang.
that there's going to be a rematch. There's going to be a trilogy.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll happen right away, though.
I don't know if it'll happen right away. Anyways, I don't want to talk. We'll get back to this soon. Let's talk about probably the 3rd biggest fight on the card,
Yeah.
which was a bit of an underwhelming fight. You had Jose Aldo
Yeah.
taking on Marab, Divashvili, in honestly a mediocre fight, a mediocre performance by the both.
I think it was a mediocre performance by Jose Aldo because Merab
Definitely.
did exactly what he needed to do. He didn't need to do much more. Aldo just did not let his hands fly. And it's not to say that he's washed or anything. He still looks like a top fighter. Like the guy,
Yeah.
his striking looked elite. His takedown defense is the best I've ever seen.
Oh my
Like,
God.
it was ridiculous.
Against a guy who's just a crazy grappler, trains with Sterling.
But he
and
just didn't throw.
Yeah, he did not
He
throw.
didn't throw.
I think he gassed out from all the pressure.
Yep.
The pace Marab puts on you is
Also,
it's just
fighting
unreal.
at that altitude definitely had to play it.
Yeah,
factor.
where were they? Salt Lake City?
Yep. And by the way, everybody was saying, "Oh, Salt Lake City, why would they pick this venue?" That crowd was better than any Vegas crowd, any
was
Houston
electric.
crowd. It was an amazing crowd. So shout out to Salt Lake City.
Well, the thing is, when you go to a place that doesn't hold many UFC events,
Exactly.
the crowd's gonna be firing up. Like, you know, we're from Canada, Montreal, Canada here. If there was a UFC pay-per-view that came here, like, I
It'd be
don't
electric.
care if there's no Canadian fighter on it.
Doesn't matter.
It's gonna be electric. One of the craziest crowds.
Always.
They used to come here with GSP, but not so
Good
anymore.
times.
But man, I remember when they'd come here for GSP. That I think it was Diaz they fought in Canada.
Yep.
Oh my
Crazy.
God, I remember watching that in my
Crazy.
basement. The fucking crowd was
Although,
mental.
speaking of GSP, I think, and I know we're talking about Aldo fight, but I think
Yeah, go off topic. No
I think that this Usman KO actually sets up his GOAT arc because just like GSP lost, He came back. He beat Matt Serra after losing, after getting knocked out. So I think if anything, this sets up Usman's path to trying to once again set up him go. Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Like I said, GSP got knocked out, crazy KO. Nobody expected it against Matt Serra or TKO. And then here he goes. He comes back. He beats everybody again. And Kamaru Usman, if he reclaims that belt again, he'll be a 2-time champ. He'll have done exactly what GSP did. He beat Masvidal twice. He beat Covington twice.
And he's gonna
beat Edwards twice.
And Burns once. The only thing I'll argue about is Kamaru Usman, if I'm not mistaken, is 35.
Yeah.
He's 35 years old, and he's probably going to be out till he's 36 because he's going to need at least 6 months off.
I agree.
He's going to need 6 months off. That's a traumatic head injury. You saw what he looked like, and you saw what Leon said. Go spend time with your family, recuperate, get yourself together, and let's do a trilogy. No rush. Okay? I personally think that Leon Edwards will take on the winner of Diaz Chimaev, the main event of pay-per-view, UFC 279, before he fights Kamaru Usman in the trilogy. That's what I want to see. I don't even want to see Usman fight again.
I do want to see Leon Edwards fight in Wembley Stadium.
In London, yeah. Oh my God, that'd be electric. That's where he wants to fight.
You just have to pray it's not raining, because it rains all the time in England. It's an open stadium. If it's not raining...
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know it's an open stadium. That is crazy.
It's an open stadium. It's a soccer stadium. So there's going to be 90,000 fans, I think.
Oh my God. Have they ever fought there? No.
No, never.
Well, what's the arena they fight in when they go to London?
I think it's the O2.
Yeah, the O2 Arena. There you go. Yeah.
It's a good arena, but it's not Wembley Stadium. Wembley Stadium is a crazy stadium. It'd be a huge event, although they would need some support for Leon, because I don't think Leon alone would get the whole place filled up. But I think you get Patty on that card, you get Molly on that card. Oh my God,
for sure. I mean...
That'd be crazy.
Leon isn't the one filling that stadium. It's Kamaru Usman coming back and potentially winning.
But you'd be surprised because the support they have for the...
Oh, yes, people. That's true too. Now that I think of it, yes. He probably could fill the stadium with a couple other Brits. I'd love to see that.
Who do you have winning that third fight, if it does happen?
So here's the thing. I'm not sure the exact stat, but there's a crazy stat showing that whenever a champ gets finished, knocked out, submitted, whatever, to lose their belt and they have an immediate rematch, they almost every single time they lose. And if I go through them, you got Rose Namajunas, who got knocked out to lose her belt.
Yeah. Well, she got dropped on her head.
She got dropped on her head, right. She lost the belt, but then she came back and won.
Well, what about Nunes? She did the same thing.
Nunes did the same thing. There's also Figueiredo got submitted by Moreno and came back and won.
GSP came back and won.
Okay.
But I'm sure there's countless times our champion's been knocked out and didn't come back.
No, there is. I'm just trying to think. I don't know why I can't think of names. Anyways, I'm gonna definitely look that up after. But ultimately, I think Leon takes it. I mean, Kamaru Usman, his mental game is definitely strong enough. That won't be a problem. But he was just off for 8 months or whatever it was, and you saw how he performed. I mean, he performed well, but...
I see a lot of comments saying, oh, he's just going to be even safer. He's going to take him down and wrestle him the entire time. People forget, the mental toll that a KO will have on someone, and especially someone who's been invincible this entire time. He's going to have a very different mindset coming to that next fight. After you've been knocked out by somebody, there's a level of fear that comes to play.
For sure.
And I think Edwards would actually win the trilogy fight.
Really?
I think so.
And Kamaru Usman, like I said, I keep bringing up the age thing. He's getting up there in age. He just broke his hand. He had a long layoff. Yeah. And there's octagon rust. There really is. I mean, he just fought 5 rounds, almost 5 rounds. So, I mean, for people to say, oh, he's just going to take him down and sit on him the whole fight. I mean, first of all, is there really a problem with that? If he can do that, why can't he do that, you know? 100%. He is a wrestler. And if that's his way to beat Edwards, to win back that belt, why can't he just go on top of him, pound him for 5 rounds, and win that belt back, and continue his reign, and try to go for that GOAT status, you know? I don't see a problem in that. Anyways, I know we're going back and forth between fights, but I just want to see what's next for these bantamweights. You have Merab, who's ranked 3 now, and you have Aldo, who's 6, right?
Yeah.
6. You saw what Dana White said that's not a performance that will get you a title shot.
It wasn't.
Ultimately. Which sucks because I like Merab. And honestly, it's probably a good thing that that fight doesn't merit a title
I
shot
think
because
so.
his teammate Sterling is the champ.
He doesn't want to fight him, like he said.
He really doesn't want to fight him. Sterling, they're both saying they're going to move up. They're going to move down. They're going to move up.
For Merab to get a title shot, I think a couple pins have to fall in his way. Like, there's obviously O'Malley versus Yan, and like, what happens after that? Like, who gets the title shot? Does O'Malley have to fight Cheeto for the title shot after? There's just I just don't think it's Merab's turn yet to get anywhere near that. Although I will say, if Dillashaw does beat Aljamain,
it opens a whole new window.
That does open up. That's a pin that needs to drop for him to get, because I think he wants revenge against Dillashaw. I think there was talking about
for sure.
Like Dillashaw, so.
Yeah, and the thing is, if Sterling wins and Yan wins, you can't, like, no one really wants to see Yan Sterling again. At least for now, they'd rather see a new face, some new blood. But it can't be Merab. It can't be Merab. There's also Sanhagen against Song Yadong, which is a big fight. It is a big fight, and if Song Yadong can win that, he is the #1 contender without a doubt, 100%. And he's fighting for that belt by the end of 2023 for sure.
Oh yeah.
And then you got, like you said, the number 13 guy, Sugar Sean O'Malley, who, by the way, I didn't even know was ranked. I did not know Sugar Sean O'Malley was ranked. He is fighting the #1 guy.
That's
in
crazy.
Peter Yan, who's arguably the #1 guy in the division.
I don't know if he's pulling it off. I don't think he's pulling that fight off.
I don't think he's pulling that fight off.
But shout out to him for taking it. They were saying, oh, he's ducking all these guys. No, he just probably didn't get offered the
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
And he got an opportunity, he took it.
Yes, people are saying, he's picking his fights, he's picking the easy fights, which would be fine. That's the smart thing to do. He's building a brand. He's also building his name, and that is fine. But with this fight announcement, it proves that the UFC was the party who wasn't allowing Sugar to take those fights.
I will say
that's also fine.
Even if he loses this fight, if he does actually put up a really good fight and a good contest shows, like, it'll open a whole new, like,
100%.
he'll have earned respect because he's fighting Peter Yan. I mean, the guy's a killer, like, absolute animal.
I'm just curious what people will say about Sugar if he gets through Peter Yan, because Sugar's the type of personality, you love him or you hate him. And the people that love him will be psyched he wins. Oh, he's fighting for a belt. He's #1 guy in the division. He just beat the uncrowned champ. People still think
I think it's an immediate title shot for him if he beats
Has to be immediate. Has to be immediate.
And if it's not, then he'd have to fight Cheeto. But at the end of the day, I still think that he deserves a title shot if he beats him.
Cheeto's another guy where I would love to see that rematch, but I would love to see that rematch for the belt. You know, on bigger terms, on bigger circumstances. I would love to see it. Anyways, let's move on to the middleweights. This was a crazy fight. As you said, the best, worst fight. Paulo Costa against Luke Rockhold. Two big names, two comebacks. Rockhold hasn't fought in a couple years. Costa, fought Vettori, but I feel like this was a real comeback fight. He looked good. He was ready.
Shredded.
He trained. First, I just want to bring up that USADA, their mental cases, going to his...
Dana White spoke about
it. He did. He said that will never, ever happen to a fighter. He said it to Costa in the weigh-ins. It's just crazy. Anyways, they're both... That was their last fight of the contract.
Yeah.
What's next? I don't know, but I just want to talk about that fight for now. That was a crazy fight. Sorry about that. So what do you think about that fight?
I have to say Luke Rockhold definitely earned a fan that night. I was not a Luke Rockhold fan going into the fight. I wasn't a hater either, but I was never a big Luke Rockhold guy. But, like, what a warrior, man. What a way to go out. Absolutely crazy. And, like, the fans are going crazy over the smallest thing. I think there's a point in the fight where Costa had him, like, on the mount, and then all he did was flip him over, go to full mount. The fans were acting like he knocked him out.
I know. And again, just brings to the point, like, the fan was electric. Like, and these fighters allowed the fans to be electric.
Oh, yeah.
Put on crazy performance. Like you said, I totally agree with you. I wasn't a huge Rockhold fan. But I didn't hate the guy. You know, I was kind of like, why is Luke Rockhold coming back? You know, the guy has a modeling career. Does he really need the money? And Paulo Costa, I was like, this is a bad fight for him because...
It's a disappointing fight for him.
It was, because I want to see Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa, whether you want to think it or not, is one of the best guys in the 185 division.
He's a killer.
Saw what he did against Romero. Saw his way up to Izzy. And he is a killer. And this fight did not allow... Honestly, this fight allowed him to show it, but he didn't take chances. He had Luke Rockhold stuck. He had him on the fences. Luke Rockhold was leaning over. Just needed air.
Hands on his knees, and he just wasn't hitting.
He was
hitting for the body shots, and like he tried to throw a couple of head kicks, but it's like just punch him in the face. That's all you had to do.
Body shots. Luke Rockhold landed some crazy body shots.
4 straight leg kicks.
Crazy leg kicks. I heard just boom, boom, boom. Sounded like a pistol just going to his gut.
And I know he's retiring. or
was
like
hurt.
probably retired.
Yeah, he's retired.
I still think Luke Rockhold could beat a boatload of guys in that division.
Really?
Absolutely. I don't think he realized how good he looked in that fight. Obviously, he was gassed after round 1.
Yeah.
But he's fighting Paulo Costa. Like, that guy's...
Who put on a pace. Sorry.
Yeah. Crazy. He's a killer. Should he retire? Yes. If he wanted to continue going, I think he could. He wouldn't fight for a belt.
No.
But I think he'd put in some pretty fun fights.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So, I go back to both being in their last fight on their UFC contracts. Luke said in the post-fight interview with Joe Rogan that he's done. He didn't have his guns. You know,
fucking old.
Whenever Joe Rogan, you see in his eyes, he starts to tear up. That's a moment. That's a historic moment. Luke Rockhold, a former Strikeforce champ, a former UFC champ, hanging up the gloves after a sick fight. Maybe not the greatest performance, but just a sick fight. And he said it was a tough 3 years. If I had to guess what that means, he came back. Yeah, obviously he loves to compete. He's an athlete, but he probably needs some money. Yeah, and that was the main reason why he fought. And you hate to see a guy go out like that.
And shout out to DC after going leaving.
But thank God he didn't get finished. Honestly, thank God he didn't get finished.
Absolutely.
Because that whole fight, I honestly had a Costa by finish in my parlay. But after seeing Luke just like, it looked like he didn't want to be there. I was like, oh, I really don't want to see this guy get finished because he'll be a meme #1 and it'll downplay his whole career. And you hate to see that. You saw it with fucking Tyron Woodley.
I think 95% of the UFC would kill to have Luke Rockhold's career.
For sure, 100%.
But yeah, it would have been a sad way to go out. But shout out to him. He stayed on his feet, brought some blood in his face.
That was hilarious. That was probably the best moment of the fight. Luke Rockhold with a minute left, 30 seconds left.
Smearing his
just
blood.
Kissing him, smearing blood into Paulo Costa's mouth, his eyes, his ears, everything. It was absolutely absurd. Anyways, this raises one question for me because I do not think Luke Rockhold fights in the UFC again, and I do not think Paulo Costa fights in the UFC. I really don't think so. I could see him going. I could see him going to Bellator. I could see him going to PFL. These guys will pay him big.
Bellator will pay
him. The UFC doesn't need him in this division, in the UFC. But you gotta ask yourself. There's a very, very big superstar boxer who's looking for a fight. He wants a name. He wants a guy who knows how to fight. He doesn't want someone really old. Paulo Costa against Jake Paul. Are you down for that?
Would I be down for it? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't see it happening.
No, I really think that can happen. I think it's a very, very possible.
I think Jake's waiting for Nate Diaz.
Yes.
Because I don't think Nate Diaz has the KO power. It's less of a threat for him. And it's still legit because Nate's going to throw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But we know Jake's fighting KSI sometime next year in Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
So they will be selling out Wembley Stadium. But I think he wants a fight before then. And I think it's going to be Nate Diaz if he loses to Chimaev. That's what I see.
The timeline on that's a little weird because you're going to fight Nate Diaz, who has been in the UFC for years, fought big name guys, top guys in the divisions he's been in. Conor McGregor, this, that. Is he really going to fight Nate Diaz and then go fight KSI? I feel like it should be the opposite. I feel like he should fight KSI and then fight the big name. Finally he's going to fight the guy who can show that he's a legit boxer. Because Nate Diaz, like you said, will stand there. You think KSI will sell more?
I think KSI will sell more because you're underestimating that this guy is the biggest influencer in all of Europe.
The power
of the market.
Yes, I agree.
This guy has the UK on the tip of his thumb.
Which is honestly a little sad. I mean, good for him.
Good for him.
He has a big following. He's
fighting actually this weekend.
KSI's fighting this weekend?
He's fighting some... he was supposed to fight Alex Wasabi. Now he's fighting some guy called Swarms. He's a rapper.
Oh my god.
And he's fighting 2 fights in one night.
Are you serious?
2 guys in one night.
How many rounds? Do you know?
I don't know how it's going to be scheduled.
I mean, even the thing with Jake Paul, when he was fighting, who was his name? I can't pronounce it. Rackman or... His last fight, that was cancelled because of the weight.
Oh,
Hasim Rahman Jr. or something? Yeah,
Hasim Rahman Jr., yeah.
That fight, there's not a single person that cared to see that fight.
Nope.
And
not at all.
Jake Paul's next opponent has to be someone with a name. It has to be someone who can fight. It can't be someone over the age of 37 or whatever, you know?
100%.
It needs to be someone reliable, someone who could bring him some
credibility.
Credibility, yes,
100%.
exactly. Oh my god, I just want to see him fight that one guy, and it's not because I want to see him lose. I would love to see him lose, but I respect what he's doing.
Everybody
and if he were to win and become a legitimate boxer, good on him. But I don't think that's him. Therefore, I want to see him lose. And I also don't like what he said about Luke Rockhold.
Oh, yeah, that...
He was tweeting just like...
But you know what? He's the only guy that didn't like that fucking fight, so...
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
Fuck him. But I do think he's legit. Like, he's not going to be a pro boxer and, like, go and beat all these guys. But he is an average boxer. Like, this guy can actually throw. He's got power. He's got power when he's fighting backwards, too, which is actually very impressive for a guy who just picked up the sport. And he's legit. Like, he could knock some people out. You saw what he did to Woodley.
Yeah. I'm not a big boxing guy. You are. You know more. You're a big boxing guy.
Yeah.
I'm not like a boxing analyst. I could like watch more MMA and know what's going on. Boxing, not so much. I mean, but anyways, next fight, who knows? I personally want to see Costa, but anyone.
I'd love to see Costa or Diaz.
Costa or Diaz. I'm okay with it. More MMA fighters for Mr. Jake Paul.
He's waiting for McGregor, which I don't think will ever happen.
I think that happens.
You think it happens at some point?
It's gonna happen.
Really?
It has to happen. There's no reason for it not to happen. McGregor's at the stage where
I don't know where he's going.
I don't even want to talk about him.
Yeah, let's not even get to McGregor right now.
I don't want to talk about him.
There's way too much on our plates to talk about.
Anyways,
McGregor
let's move on to the next UFC event.
Yeah.
A main event that I'm pumped to see, but also a co-main event I'm even more psyched to see.
Really?
We have UFC Fight Night in Paris coming up September 3rd, I believe, Saturday. So you got Ciryl Gane, top heavyweight, taking on another favorite. Taking on a top heavyweight in Tai Tuivasa, who's a huge underdog.
I don't like this fight that the UFC set up. I think they set up Tai Tuivasa to fail.
Yes, they did, and I don't like that as well.
I think they should keep building him up. Derek Lewis, that was already a pretty big test. He survived.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out to him.
Did he survive? Oh my God, did he ever survive?
But Ciryl Gane, I think he's another level. Like I actually think Ciryl Gane would probably beat Francis Ngannou in a rematch if they were to fight again.
I mean, after
there's no heavyweight.
Surgery,
there's no heavyweight that throws combinations, throws kicks like Gane, throws knees like Gane. Like for what he does as a heavyweight, it's truly remarkable.
There's also no heavyweight that physically looks like Ciryl Gane. Just an absolute like freak of a specimen.
Oh, yeah.
And that first fight with Ngannou, it was a close fight, but ultimately Ngannou took it.
Took him down, he wrestled him.
And Ngannou was the one who wrestled him and silent popped him.
Nobody expected that.
Which was the opposite of what people expected. People thought Ciryl Gane was a more diverse MMA fighter.
I think he is more diverse. I just think he wasn't expecting to be taken out. Exactly. And he wasn't expecting how powerful France would be. Because he didn't even need to have the technique. He's just so strong. He'll take you up and he'll bring you down.
Yeah, and his opponent, Tai Tuivasa.
Dangerous fight for Gane too, obviously.
Dangerous fight. Because Tai can knock out Ciryl Gane
and he could take
and any other heavyweights with one punch. And like you saw with Derek Lewis, Tai Tuivasa can take a damn hit. Yeah. And I mean, this could be a barn burner.
He's something that the UFC hasn't had for a long time, for probably like around years now. He's not a boxer. He's not a kickboxer. He's a cage fighter. He goes in.
He's a street fighter. He's ready to brawl.
He entertains. He brawls. He can take a hit. Boy, can he give one out. But I do think Gane's skills are going to be too much for him to handle in this fight. I don't know if he gets finished. I don't really. It's a 5-round fight, isn't it?
I don't think. When have you seen Ciryl Gane finish anyone other than?
Yeah.
I mean, Derek Lewis, but did he finish Derek Lewis?
Did he finish Derek Lewis?
He finished.
I think he did finish
Dos Santos, but everyone finishes Dos Santos. I mean, but this is two top 5 guys. And the winner will probably fight for a belt, especially if it's Tai Tuivasa. He'll definitely fight for a belt. Ciryl Gane, if he wins, he's definitely going to fight for a belt, like you said, in a rematch against Francis Ngannou.
I wonder how it ties into heavyweight when it comes to Stipe Miocic.
And
Johnny Bones.
Because I don't know why that fight hasn't been announced.
I think someone's to blame, and I don't even know if it's John Jones.
I don't know who it's to blame. I really don't know. Because I would love to blame it on John Jones, but
it just makes so much sense.
He looks ready. Yeah. He wants to fight Stipe. It's a fight
he tweeting.
If Stipe beat Francis Ngannou in their rematch, when Ngannou freaking knocked him out with that hook, John Jones would be fighting Stipe, and John Jones would have not been in a 3, potentially 4-year layoff. Because I really think John Jones at first just didn't want to fight Ngannou.
Yeah.
Preferred to fight Stipe, also because of what Stipe has done. Because if you beat Stipe, you're known as the heavyweight GOAT, even though he's never fought a heavyweight. Mm-hmm. But he was scared of the Ngannou fight, and now the opportunity to fight both of them is there. And it makes sense for him to fight Stipe. An interim belt
Yeah.
should have been done because of Ngannou's knee surgery.
100%.
But it
I think there
hasn't
still
been
will
done.
be an interim belt at some point down the line for the heavyweight division.
Yeah, there
I
always
just
is.
don't know.
I mean, the interim belts get thrown around these days in any division.
Cyril Gane, let's say he beats Tuivasa. What's next? Who's he gonna fight next? Like, there's quite literally, I don't think anybody there that's like.
Aspinall's done for now. Curtis Blades needs a fight before he fights for the belt because of what happened.
Gane beating him.
Yeah, I've Gane bleeding many heavyweights.
The way I see it, I think Gane wins this fight, and then I think John Jones and Stipe Miocic need to happen.
For sure.
And then maybe the winner of that fight's Gane for the interim, if there's enough time, depending on where Francis comes back.
Yeah.
And then that's what I think should happen in the heavyweights, but we'll see.
I'm okay with that. Let's move on to the co-main event, which, in my opinion, should be the main event. But, of course, it's in Paris, so Cyril Gane's got to headline that.
100%.
You got Marvin Vettori, 28 years old, taking on Robert Whittaker. This is a fight people, MMA fans, are dying to see because it's a great stylistic matchup. Both of these guys put pressure on you at crazy pace. And I'm excited to see which one can get the better of the other. And it's a 5-round. It's a 3-round fight.
3-round fight.
Which I'm kind of upset about because I would love to see a 5-round fight.
Yep.
But it's a 3-round fight, and that changes everything.
It does.
Because Vettori is a guy that comes on strong, just is relentless, is a dog out there. And Whittaker is more of like, a specialist and, a sharpshooter. And, I mean, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. Like, can you break that down?
I've got Whittaker winning this fight. I think he's
I'm going back and forth. I
think he's a class above everybody else in that division. I mean, there's Izzy, and I think Whittaker's just the close second.
But I think Vettori also, like, just his style, the way he...
It is a good...
The way he'll come at you.
Like, it's overwhelming. In a 3-round fight, it does make a big difference, right? It's not like, he'll get to adjust halfway through the fight and then start to pick his shots. No, he's got to be ready off the rip. Maybe he'll lose round 1, not
That's what I was
just in the pace, and then round 2 will be a big factor on whether or not he adjusts or not. We'll see. But do I think Whittaker takes a win? I think his experience and his skill gives him the win. But who knows? It's a 3-round fight.
Yeah. And that's another thing. His mentality. Vettori's a guy that's, like I said, relentless.
Yeah.
If he loses round 1, it won't get to him. He'll just make the adjustments. He has a good corner. He'll go right back in there, and he'll do what he's got to do. But on the flip side, if he wins round 1, he's a cocky guy. If he wins round 1, he's going to know he's got this fight in the bag. Could be dangerous, but could also help him just finish that fight. And for Whittaker is a very chill guy. Doesn't get overwhelmed. And I mean, if it's going well for Whittaker, it's going well for Whittaker. And if it's not, he'll make the adjustments.
I could see Whittaker losing round 1. Not in a big way or anything, but losing round 1. And then, composing himself, figuring out what to do, figuring out how to beat Vettori, and then coming back and picking up a late win. Do I think we'll see a stoppage in this fight?
No, definitely not.
I don't think
definitely
so.
Not.
But you never know.
Yeah, you never know in MMA, of course. But these both guys, they've got chins. They're just dogs. And I don't think that'll be a finish.
Me neither.
So my official prediction, well, not official because it's a week away. And I don't post my official prediction until fight day. But my prediction for now, honestly, I'm leaning towards Vettori.
Yeah.
Vettori by decision. Maybe a split decision, maybe a unanimous, not too sure, but Vettori by decision is where I'm at now. Prediction for now, what's yours?
I've got Rob by a split decision.
Split decision.
I think he loses round 1, wins round 2, and then wins a very close round
I'd be
3.
down to see that. That'd be a great fight.
It'd be great to see it 1-1 heading into the fight.
Yeah, it's always great to see
Or
that.
see someone down 2-0 and it's still a close fight and see them have to go guns out blazing.
Yeah, agreed.
We'll see.
So let's stay on that division, the middleweight division. Let's move on from UFC Paris. But a big fight announcement. Jared Cannonier taking on Mr. Sean Strickland, one of my favorite fighters. I don't know. This is a big fight. I don't think any of these guys could ever fight for a title.
They won't.
Cannonier just did.
I think Strickland can if he somehow builds his way back up.
Yeah.
But I don't see it happening.
He's still not like, he still has some years to go.
He's good. Like
he's a good boxer.
He's a really good boxer.
He's also a scrapper, Pereira's a different breed. He's definitely a different breed. Like, he has got bricks for hands.
Scary fight for Izzy. That's a scary fight for Izzy.
That's a scary down fight for Izzy.
If you're
mentally, and just the fact that this guy is standing in front of you and every single shot he lands can finish you. And there's not many guys in that division like that.
One thing Pereira has coming to that fight is he's knocked out Izzy, twice?
Experience, yes. No, knocked him out once, beat him by decision once.
Knocked him out. He's beat him twice. So you're coming to this fight,
knowing he can get it done.
You know you could do it, and you know you live rent free in Izzy's head. I think he's the only guy probably in the entire world, in the world that lives in Izzy's head. And Izzy might be the champion. He might have the experience, but I guarantee you, there's still that fear in the back of his mind. Yes. Like, what if I lose to this guy 3 times?
But also, like you said with Usman, once you get KO'd clean, it's hard to look that guy in the eye and see him how you saw him before. 100%. Izzy's standing in front of Alex Pereira, and he's looking at him, knowing that Alex Pereira knocked his ass out in kickboxing and won a decision. And now it's MMA, and I mean, these guys aren't going to take it to the mat. So it technically is a kickboxing match, just with different gloves. That's what it is at the end of the day. And I mean, I think Izzy pulls it out just because, like, I think he's more experienced, and I think he just really wants this more than Pereira, because Pereira's beat him. Pereira will always have that over Izzy.
I think Pereira might want it just as bad, because this guy was kickboxing, beat him twice, came to the UFC to beat everybody in that division's path, just to get back to Izzy to beat him a 3rd time. You know that was his plan all along when he came to the UFC, 100%.
And it was the UFC's plan too. 100%. They set it up perfectly. His path, he's fought, 3 fights? Now he's fighting for the belt? Well done by the UFC, because they set it up beautifully. But well done by Alex Pereira. He did what he had to do. He finished those 3 guys.
I did not think he would beat... What's his name?
Strickland.
I didn't think he was beating Strickland. I had Strickland win that fight.
Me too. I really did. I think Strickland would just, like, be a better overall boxer, and just 100%. His jab would be maybe too much, but Pereira just looked huge in there. He's built different.
He's got that superhuman
power. I mean,
and what if he hits Izzy? Like, what if Izzy gets hit with that? Has Izzy fought a guy as strong as Pereira?
No, I mean, Cannonier is maybe the second biggest puncher,
but Cannonier is also just not as good as
Pereira. But Cannonier also has to put a lot of power behind that to land it. Pereira, you saw, he just flipped his wrist for a quick hook and knocked Sean Strickland on his
scary fight for Izzy.
Scary fight for Izzy.
If there's anyone to beat Izzy, it would be Pereira.
I agree. And say Izzy wins this, because I want to stick on Izzy. I like talking about this. Say Izzy wins this. Does he try to move up again?
I think he does, but I think what he could also do now is in the welterweight division.
Oh.
What if he goes and avenges Kamaru Usman if he loses the 3rd fight against
You think he can make 170?
I don't know.
That's a tough one.
Could there be a catch weight or no?
No, not for a belt. Not for a belt. And he would never just fight Edwards.
He would have to move up then.
He would have to move up. And I just think he's too small to move up. I think middleweight's the perfect division for him.
He is too small, but he knows what to expect now. He lost the Blastwich. He knows exactly that he needs to put on the muscle. He needs to be ready to wrestle. Because if he's not ready... Is he better at striking? Obviously.
100%.
He's probably the best striker in the UFC. But... he needs to be able to withstand any grappling, any wrestling. You can't just have someone sit on him for 5 rounds.
I don't think he's there yet.
I don't think he's there yet. Will he be more prepared if he does do it? Absolutely.
For sure.
He knows what to expect. And I do think he's eyeing a move up, because at the end of the day, if he beats Pereira, who's left? There's nobody left.
There's nobody left. There's no one interesting. There's no one that will sell pay-per-views. And Izzy has a hard time selling pay-per-views to begin with because of how he fights. And that's another thing.
It's not even his fault.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. He does what he has to do to win. He looks great.
He's kind of going down that Anderson Silva path where it's like, people are like, oh, why is he not doing some crazy knockout? Well, nobody wants to engage him. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But Pereira's the same way. Pereira's a counter striker. And I'm really, really excited to see how these two interact in the octagon. You know, like, who's going to move forward? Is Izzy going to be the one to put the pace for the first time ever in the UFC? I'm pumped to see it. And I have Izzy winning. You also have Izzy winning?
I've got Izzy winning that fight, but I would not be surprised whatsoever if Pereira pulls off a crazy KO.
Oh my God.
I think it would probably
Could you imagine, can you imagine the Nigerians, Usman and Adesanya, both in 2022, lying on their backs unconscious to lose their belt?
I think we're getting near the end of the African champion era. I think Ngannou might lose in the future.
I think so too.
And then Izzy, and then Usman. I think it might be the end of the reign. So... sorry to Ali Abdelaziz, but...
Anyways, I have a bold prediction. We'll end it off here. I think that every single champ, every 2022 champ, will not be 2023 champ by the end of the year. I really don't see that happening. Let's go down the division.
You go one by one.
You got Figueiredo at the flyweights. I don't think he finishes 2023 as champ. I really do think Moreno takes it in that rematch.
Are they rematching?
Yeah, well, he just won the interim belt.
Yeah.
And
I think Moreno. I'll give you that one.
Sterling 135. I don't see him being the champ.
Yeah, I don't see him. I think that division.
It's
not the knock on Sterling.
It's too deep. It's way too deep.
I just think that
There's
division
way too much
is way
competition.
too deep and way too good to be possible. I just don't think it's happening.
Yeah. Okay. 145 is the only division that I see remaining.
Yeah.
I think Charles Oliveira loses to Makhachev.
Really? I think Charles Oliveira gets the
I think
win.
I don't think he's given the respect from betting's perspective,
Yeah.
but ultimately I do think Makhachev wins.
I've got Oliveira winning that fight. I think Oliveira does not get respected enough. This
I
guy
agree.
is a killer. He's been at rock bottom. Like, this guy has quit mid-fight. It's like he has been at the rock bottom. There's no going back that for him. I think he's just way too good. He could do it all. He's a great striker.
Could.
Once you're down on the ground with him, you basically already lost the fight. Like,
When he's on top of you,
When he's on
whether
top
he's
of
on top or on your back, or
will he able
you're
to
on top of
withstand Makhachev's power on top of him? We'll see, and it will be interesting
Definitely
to
will
see.
be interesting.
But I think Oliveira pulls that off.
170, Usman already done.
Yeah.
185, we're talking about Izzy. Very good possibility.
Very possible. I think.
Well, 205. I don't know what happens to
205 will
205.
change. I think.
I think so too. It's just I don't think Yuri's all that. And heavyweight, and Ngannou's got one more fight. I don't know. Like,
I don't know. We'll see.
we'll see. Anyways, I think we got to end it there.
Yeah.
Had a great time, Chris. Thank you for joining.
Pleasure being with you, bro.
Pleasure seeing you. It's been a while, and with this setting, awesome. You know your MMA. I've always wanted to have you on.
Thank you.
Maybe
It's a
we'll do
pleasure.
this again, guys. Make sure to tune in. Subscribe to our YouTube to watch this. And if you want to just listen to it, if you're in your car going to work, school, whatever, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, at Unanimous Champs. Check out the socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everything. Chris,
See you
pleasure.
boys in Paris.
Ciao, guys. Oh, yeah.